The invisible prison. They told you it was just paper. They told you it was a tool of exchange. They lied. Look at your life. You work, you strive, you exhaust your body and fracture your mind, chasing a horizon that moves further away with every step you take. You believe that if you just work harder, the numbers in your bank account will change. But they don't. Not really. Have you ever wondered why? Why do the incompetent rise while the diligent suffer? Why does wealth seem to repel you like a magnetic force? It is not bad luck. It is not the economy. It is a program, a script running deep in your subconscious, installed before you could speak. You call it a money mindset. We call it a containment field. Welcome to the Hidden Secrets Archive. Here we do not offer financial advice. We exhume the buried truths that the elites have kept behind velvet ropes and blood oaths for centuries. Before we descend into the dark psychology of wealth, you must make a choice. Most turn back here. They prefer the comfortable lie. If you want to see the strings attached to your limbs, you must align yourself with the archive. Subscribe now and turn on all notifications. Do not let the algorithm hide this knowledge from you again. This is your first test of will. There are two conflicting theories about why you are kept in a state of perpetual scarcity. One is biological. The other is esoteric, and both are terrifying. Part 1. The Biological Sabotage. Let us begin with the flesh. Your brain is not designed for success. It is designed for survival. And to your primitive mind, survival means sameness. The moment you seriously move toward wealth, your brain does not celebrate, it panics. Deep inside your skull sits ancient wiring that cannot tell the difference between chasing opportunity and being chased by a predator. This is the amygdala hijack, the survival alarm system that evolved when more resources meant hunting larger prey, crossing rival territory, or risking death. To your nervous system, money is not numbers. It is food, shelter, status, survival. And pursuing more of it signals danger. In tribal times, safety meant sameness. Belonging meant survival. Standing out meant exile, and exile meant death. So when you try to rise financially, your biology reads it as leaving the tribe's protection zone. Your pulse changes. Your thoughts blur. You procrastinate, scroll, snack, get tired. Not laziness, containment. Then comes the upper limit problem. The moment life starts improving, the subconscious hits the brakes. You get sick before an opportunity. You lose your keys before a meeting. Anxiety spikes when money enters your account. Sudden arguments, random fatigue. The system creates problems to pull you back to familiar territory, because the unknown, even if it is wealth, feels more dangerous than familiar struggle. Your mind would rather keep you safely mediocre than risk you becoming visibly different from the herd. This was once protection. Now it is a cage. The same neural circuitry that kept a gazelle alert on the savannah now floods your body with stress when you open a banking app or walk toward a bigger goal. Static crosses the signal. Your face goes blank. Action freezes. You call it doubt. Your biology calls it survival. You are fighting a war against your own DNA. Every time you reach for more, Your internal alarm system screams, danger. This is why you procrastinate. This is why you feel that sudden, crushing fatigue when you try to start a business. It isn't laziness. It is a biological kill switch. Pause for a moment. Think of the last time you tried to change your financial fate. Did you feel sick? Did you feel a sudden wave of fear? If you have felt this biological kill switch, type the code word system override in the comments. Let us see how it's particular like what working into the cloud. Let us see how it this problems to see however properly do. Let us see how I subscribe to help you on your correct. The system override problems to get updated in the comments. Did you feel system override problems to keep the system override? Let us see how is particular like what working into the cloud. Let us see how is particular like what working into the comments. If you describe the kill switch, it's report. You can fist your moment least to be a new brother. It feels successful as a bit, but for then, it shouldn't come in the comments. Let us see how is particular like what working into the comments. Let us see how is particular like what working into the comments. Let us see how is particular like what working into the comments. Let us see how is particular like what working into the comments. Let us see how is particular like what working into the comments. Let us see how is particular like what working into the comments. Let us see how is particular like what working into the comments. Let us see how is particular like what working into the comments. Let us see how is particular like what working into the comments. Let us see how is particular like what working into the comments. This by biological kill switch, type the code word system. Let us see how many of you are awake. Part 2. The Esoteric Current. But biology is only the lock. It is not the hand that holds the key. Why do we call it currency? Why do we put money in banks? Why do we worry about liquidity and frozen assets? Because money is water. It flows, and like water, it is conducted. There is a darker theory, a theory that suggests the financial system is not a mathematical structure, but a ritualistic one. Long before money lived in apps and numbers, it lived in temples. The first banks were not financial institutions. They were sacred vaults. Grain, gold, and livestock were stored under priestly watch, and what people trusted wasn't currency, it was belief. Money has always been less a thing and more a shared agreement, a psychic construct held together by collective faith. In esoteric traditions, that kind of construct has a name, egregore, a thought form fed and sustained by human emotion. And money feeds best on two emotions, fear and desire. Every market panic, every lottery fantasy, every late-night worry about bills, that emotional charge strengthens the system. Scarcity isn't just a mindset, it's a signal. When your nervous system broadcasts lack, your perception narrows. You miss opportunities. You underprice yourself. You cling instead of create. It's like trying to spot water while convinced you're in a desert. Your brain filters out rivers. Flow, on the other hand, widens perception. Watch water carve a canyon. It doesn't strain. It moves with pressure and path. The people who seem to magnetize wealth operate from that state, not frantic effort. Alignment, timing, leverage. This is why the just work harder doctrine fails so many. Hard labor burns energy. Flow redirects it. Elites rarely chase money directly. They build structures, systems, assets, influence channels that let value circulate through them. To an outsider, it looks effortless, even unfair. The mechanics sound mystical when described symbolically, so they're dismissed as superstition. But strip away the imagery, and you find pattern recognition, emotional regulation, long time horizons, and positioning instead of pursuit. Gold melts, reshapes, flows into molds. Money behaves similarly. It moves toward containers designed to hold it. If you believe money is scarce, you grip tighter and become rigid. If you understand it as movement, you become a channel. One state repels the current, the other lets it pass through and stay. You have been taught to chase the water, to cup your hands and beg for drops. But the masters of this world, they build canals. They do not work for the water, they command where it flows. We are halfway through the declassification. If you are still watching, the programming is weakening. Verify your allegiance to the truth. Check that your notification bell is active. We cannot guarantee this video will remain monetized or even online. Secure your connection to the archive now. Part 3. The Inherited Curse. We have discussed the brain and we have discussed the energy, but there is a third element, the blood. You are not just living your own life, you are reliving the trauma of your ancestors. Epigenetics has proven that trauma leaves a chemical mark on a person's genes, which is then passed down. Money fear didn't start with you. It started before your name existed. Trauma leaves echoes, and not all of them are emotional. Some are biological. When a generation survives famine, depression, or displacement, the body learns that loss is always near. Stress chemistry changes. Vigilance becomes default. Modern research calls it epigenetic inheritance. Older traditions simply called it a family curse. Either way, the message travels forward. Hold tight, don't risk, survival is fragile. So if your grandfather went hungry, your nervous system may treat spending, investing, or expanding as danger, even if your reality is stable. You think you're being careful. Your body thinks it's preventing extinction. Then the programming gets reinforced verbally. Childhood is hypnosis with the eyes open. Repeated phrases become internal laws. Money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford that. Rich people are greedy. Wanting more changes you. These aren't casual comments. They're money scripts, belief structures installed before critical thinking develops. A child doesn't analyze. A child absorbs. Over time, those scripts become identity. Earning more than your parents can feel like betrayal. Charging fairly feels like theft. Success triggers guilt instead of pride. This is how families unknowingly form what could be called a poverty cult, not out of malice, but familiarity. The group bonds through shared struggle, shared complaints, shared limits. When one member tries to rise, the system destabilizes. So subtle pressure appears. Jokes, doubt, emotional withdrawal, sudden conflict. Like crabs in a bucket, no one escapes because escape threatens the group's psychological balance. Love gets tied to staying small. The tragedy is that these loyalties operate unconsciously. You may be fighting for growth on the surface, while deeper layers equate wealth with rejection, danger, or moral corruption. Until those inherited scripts are seen, they don't feel like beliefs. They feel like reality. You are carrying the ghosts of your ancestors in your wallet. When you look at a bill and feel anxiety, it is not your anxiety. It is the hunger of a great-grandfather you never met. It is the shame of a mother who couldn't pay the rent. You are haunting yourself. Think back to the kitchen table of your childhood. What was the phrase they repeated? Money doesn't grow on trees? Filthy rich? Type the exact phrase that haunts you in the comments. Exercise it by writing it down. Part 4. The glitch in the matrix. So, we have the biological cage, the esoteric current, and the genetic curse. Is there a way out? The conflicting theories converge on one uncomfortable truth. To escape the poverty program, you must destroy the identity you have built. You must become a traitor to your biology, a heretic to your history, and a magician of your own reality. The way out is not a strategy, it's an ending. Not physical, psychological. The identity built on fear, proving, chasing, and one day I'll be safe has to die. As long as you want money from a place of lack, you reinforce the signal that you don't have it. The nervous system stays in pursuit mode, tense, grasping, urgent, and urgency repels the very thing it seeks. This is the law of reversed effort. Force creates resistance. The tighter you grip, the faster it slips. Wealth responds differently to those who relate to it as a tool, not oxygen. That shift isn't about pretending not to care. It's about internal sufficiency. When your sense of safety, worth, and identity are no longer waiting on a number, your decisions change. You negotiate differently. You walk away faster. You see options instead of threats. Action becomes precise instead of desperate. It feels less like climbing, more like shedding. The old skin, the one wired for survival panic, falls away. What replaces it is someone who plays the game instead of being hunted by it. To that person, money is movement, positioning, timing, not emotional rescue. Paradoxically, when you no longer need money to feel secure, you become someone it can stay with. Not because of magic, because your system stopped broadcasting fear and started broadcasting capacity. You must stop wanting success. Wanting is a declaration of lack. Wanting is the scream of the prisoner. You must shift from the frequency of need to the frequency of authority. Conclusion: the open door. We cannot tell you which theory is the absolute truth. Perhaps it is a biological accident. Perhaps it is a spiritual prison designed by architects we cannot see. But the evidence remains. If you do not reprogram your mind, you will remain a battery for a system that despises you. You will work until your heart stops, chasing a carrot that was never real. The archive has presented the evidence. The key is now in your hand. But remember, once you unlock this door, you cannot close it. You will see the matrix of scarcity everywhere you look. You will see it in your friends, your family, and the news. You will be alone in a world of sleepers. Are you the master of the coin, or are you the sacrifice? Think carefully. If you are ready for the next level of declassification, click the video appearing on your screen now. It contains the truths they burned libraries to hide. Subscribe, comment, obey.